Hey there, YouTube, Medwitch here. Today I'm going to, I was searching around doing some research and I found this really good website, authoritynutrition.com. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can read what I'm reading. So, this is 7 nutritional reasons to eat meat. These are just 7, and the 7th one really isn't a reason at all. In the past few decades, meat has been blamed for all sorts of Western disease. But we've been eating meat for a long time, and blaming new health problems on old foods doesn't make sense. The truth is, unprocessed, naturally naturally fed meat is very healthy. Unprocessed, naturally fed, and it'll actually get into that. 1. We have been digest we have been designed by evolution to eat meat and other animal foods. So if you don't believe in evolution, turn this off now. Throughout evolution, humans and pre-humans have eaten meat. Our digestive systems are well equipped to make full use of the healthy fats, proteins, and nutrients found in animal foods. The truth is that humans are omnivores, despite what some vegan proponents would have you believe. We function best eating both animals and plants. Eating both. It says we function best eating both animals and plants. Humans have a much shorter digestive system than herbivores, animals that eat plants, and don't have the specialized organs to digest glucose, the main fiber in plants. Humans also have canines with big brains, opposing thumbs, and the ability to make tools to hunt. We are actually the only predatory animal that doesn't have natural weapons. Meat was one of the reasons humans were able to evolve such large, elaborate brains. Now it says meat was one of, not the only reason. So don't get on my case. Well, why aren't dogs smarter and can use tools and blah 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 blah. It just says it's one of it. The other portions are fire and of course our opposable thumbs. Some of the earliest evidence show that our pre-human ancestors were eating meat as early as 1.5 million years ago. 2. Meat is incredibly nutritious. High quality, unprocessed meat is among the most nutritious foods in the world. A 100-gram portion, about 3.5 ounces, of raw ground beef contains large amounts of vitamin B12, B3 or niacin, B6, iron, zinc, selenium, and plenty of other vitamins and minerals. Vitamin B12 is particularly important because it cannot be gotten in any amount from plants, which means no plant matter contains vitamin B12. Studies have shown that out of vegans who don't supplement with B12, which means fake vitamins, the supplements that you get over the counter or whatever, 92% are deficient in this critical nutrient. Unprocessed meat is also loaded with healthy fats, but meat from grass-fed animals contain up to 5 times as much omega-3s as meat from grain-fed animals. I'm sorry, I keep putting R's in there. Maybe I should, T. But the composition of meat goes way beyond all the macro and micronutrients that we are familiar with. Carotene, forms an energy reserve in the muscles and brain and is found only in animal foods. Vegetarians are deficient in serotonin, 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 right? Leading to really see, I can't really talk today. Leading to reduced physical and mental performances. Carnosine, carnosine, carnosine function functions as a powerful antioxidant and provides protection against many degenerative processes. It's only found in animal foods. DHA and EPA are the active forms of omega-3 in the human body and found primarily in animal foods. The body is insufficient at converting ALA, the plant form of omega-3, to the active forms. Basically, what it's saying is that, what that's saying is DHA and EPA are found naturally within our bodies, and our bodies can process it normally. While ALA, the plant form of omega 3s, yes, we can use it, but it doesn't become active. 3, meat doesn't raise your risk of cardiovascular disease or diabetes. Really, diabetes is going to processed sugars. If you eat a lot of sweets and crap, yeah, and a lot of processed foods, stay away from processed foods as much as possible. I understand that it's really hard to do that, seeing as how the majority of the foods that we consume is processed. So, unprocessed food and unchemicalized food is best for you, and you won't have any problems. There are many claims about meat being able to contribute to serious diseases like cardiovascular disease and diabetes. The main reason for these claims is that the meat is high in saturated fats. However, this myth has actually been debunked quite thoroughly in recent years. Studies now show that saturated fat in a diet doesn't raise the bad cholesterol. Yes, there is good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, and there are good fatty acids and bad fatty acids. This is 100% true in the blood and is not in any way associated with heart disease. If you actually do go to the site, you'll actually see that there's lit up numbers that take you to another page, and they explain. Uh, they're basically links to how they got this information, where they got this information from. So it's not like you're sitting here reading one person's opinion. In a massive study from Harvard that looked at the data from 20 studies with a total of 1,218,380 individuals, that's a lot of people. They found no association between unprocessed meat, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes, which means these 1.2 million people that were eating unprocessed, naturally fed meats had no heart failures, no diabetes, no nothing, none of that bullshit. The EPIC, or EPIC, study from Europe didn't find any association either, and this study included almost 450,000 people. However, both of these studies found a significant increase risk for processed meat. So, this already is extremely unbiased. They're using actual, 1.2 million people, and then another 450,000 people in two different areas. And Epic in Europe found that, or actually both Harvard and Epic found that in both of the studies, processed meat did lead, processed meat, your big box meats, causes problems. And that's why, if you want to eat healthier, I can understand that, So stay away from the processed food, potato, anything that you get at a box store, Walmart, Pick and Save, Target, anything that and you can find out exactly how much bullshit is in, I'm not even kidding. Go get a can, go get a can of your vegetables out of your cupboard right now. Look at all the ingredients. If if you're picking up a can of corn, if it does not say corn, water, salt, that's all that should be in there. Corn, water, and salt. If it has words that you can't even pronounce or hope to pronounce, then it's not good for you. And this last paragraph is exactly what I said. If you want to avoid chronic diseases, then it makes sense to avoid processed meats as much as possible. But unprocessed red meats is perfectly healthy. And on top of that, when I was younger, my mom, when she would make spaghetti or meatloaf, she would use unprocessed red meat because my mom knew the difference between processed and unprocessed, and she always made sure that us kids were fed properly and healthy. Well, sometimes she'd give us a little bit of the raw red meat. You can eat small portions of raw red meats. It's not, and I'm talking about beef, not pork. Never eat raw pork. But that one little piece of raw meat actually has a lot of stuff. And I mentioned it in another video. Even raw potatoes, a little sliver of raw potatoes. It's very good for you. Just don't overdo it. Don't just like take a handful and just start munching on it. It's no bueno. Meat contains high quality. This is number 4. Meat contains high quality protein, which is crucial for the function of muscles and bones. Proteins, and it's a link, so it tells you what different types of proteins and everything. Proteins are like long strings of amino acids that are linked together and folded into complex shapes. There are about 9 amino acids that we cannot produce and must get from the diet, or being a meat diet, a healthy meat diet. Don't go on Atkins. You're asking for trouble. In this regard, animal proteins are excellent. They contain all the amino acids that we need, while most plant proteins have a suboptimal amino acid profile. There's another link to that. Not surprisingly, consumption of animal protein is associated with increased muscle mass, and people who eat an omnivorous diet have more muscle than people eating a vegetarian diet. Now, this in and of itself is true. You actually do have harder, stronger muscles. Like me, you can tell I don't have much muscle, but it's nice and it's hard and it's strong. I don't, it's not big, but it's nice and hard. And that's because I don't exercise. This is just naturally occurring muscle mass. The last time I actually exercised was about 2 years ago. And I still maintain the muscle mass. I gained a little bit of gut, but that's because I've been sitting around being the lazy fat ass. But thanks to me eating both meats and plants, I have nice, sinewy, hard muscle. I mean, it's rock solid. And I don't lift weights. I've never ever lifted weights. If I do exercise, it's push-ups and sit-ups and crunches and squats, maybe an occasional pull-up or two. Studies have shown that vegetarians have much lower testosterone levels than their meat-eating counterparts. Low testosterone is associated with reduced strength, less muscle mass, more fat gain, depression, and reduced self-esteem. Now, I said in my last video, testosterone is not based on your diet. Testosterone is a naturally occurring hormone in your body. Uh, some proteins do actually give you more testosterone, but not eating meat doesn't lower your testosterone either. You're always set with a certain amount of testosterone and estrogen. You're a guy, you have more testosterone than estrogen. You're a woman, you have more estrogen than testosterone. You have both hormones. We do have both hormones, just one more than the other. So, Um, this kind of goes into the fact that Vegan Gains thinks that people say meat is manly. There's there are links here which we could actually look into it. I want to type it's number 27. Five. Okay, this one right here. Yeah. So what I said was right. It says two study groups, one omnivorous, one vegetarian, between the ages of 25 and 35, which is actually the main portion. This is when your testosterone levels actually do start to deplete naturally on their own. It happens. It sucks. Um, but it says no significant statistical change was found in any of these really weird chemical compositions, including testosterone. So we have a higher level of sex hormone binding globin SHBG, which is something completely different than testosterone. It's actually a combination of several uh, hormones and chemicals. While the free index andro- androgen index, calculated by the ratio of testosterone versus SHBG, was lower in this group. Lower levels of these. It states that there is no change in the testosterone, but the other chemicals do become lower, and they're chemicals, not hormones. Hormones are naturally occurring. So I completely and totally do not agree with that. Another thing that protein is important is for bone health. The studies show that consumption of protein, especially animal protein, is associated with increased bone density in old age and a lower risk of fractures. I'm sorry, the reason why I get tongue tied is because I'm reading a little too fast and my tongue kind of can't keep up. If you want to gain or maintain muscle, as well as prevent osteoporosis, which is a degenerative bone disease, I think, and fractures in old age, then animal protein should be a regular part of your diet. The last time I had a broken bone, I was being an idiot on a bicycle and I wrapped myself around a tree and I broke two of my ribs. That was the last time. That was back when I was like 18, 19 years old. Other than that, I haven't had a fracture. That was my last break, fracture, whatever. And again, like I said, I haven't exercised in 2 years and I still have maintained my muscle mass. And I barely do anything. 5. There is only a very weak correlation with cancer, which may be due to overcooking, not the meat itself. There is actually such thing as overcooking, like I said in my last video, and I think in another video. If you're going to eat a steak, have it as rare as possible or as rare to taste as possible, because having that little bit of pink, have the sides like done, the edge is done, but the middle of it pink. You don't have to have it like I have it where it's nice and bloody. Just have it pink in the middle. You actually do benefit greatly from that, and this is what this is talking about. Try to stay away from well done red meat, but make sure that it is thoroughly cooked through, which means I think it's like 165 degrees Fahrenheit. So get yourself a little thermometer and make sure. Okay, this paragraph reads, there are some studies showing a link between red meat consumption and cancer. However, all of these studies are so-called observational studies, which tend to be unreliable. These studies often make the mistake of pooling together processed and unprocessed meats, which is unacceptable because the two have vastly different effects. While it is true that processed meat strongly correlates with increased cancer risk, the same is not true for unprocessed red meats. In so-called meta-analysis, which are studies that analyze the data from many studies at the same time, the link between red meats and cancer is found to be very weak. The studies only find a very small increase in risk for men and zero increase for women. That being said, it is possible that the way meat is cooked can have an effect because carcinogens can form when meat is cooked excessively. For this reason, it is important to use gentler cooking methods and cut away all burnt and charred pieces. Another good thing to do is cut off the fatty gristles, because the fatty gristles actually do absorb uh, I forgot what the chemical's name is called now, but there is a chemical that does expose itself to uh, carbonizing, which means being burnt. If you carbonize any food, which means burn it, then it's any food. It's not just meats. It's plant matter as well, and especially bread. If you put toast, you eat toast in the morning and you like it black, stop doing that, especially if it's white bread, because that will lead to problems down the road. So, yeah, have your steaks pink in the middle, or your burgers pink in the middle, thoroughly cooked. Remember, I think it's 165 degrees. If I'm wrong, correct me. Number 6, there are no proven health benefits to avoiding meat. Despite all the propaganda, there is no actual evidence that avoiding meat leads to health benefits. True, there are observational studies showing that vegetarians have a lower risk of several diseases. However, these results are fully explained by the fact that vegetarians are more health conscious overall and are more likely to exercise, less likely to smoke. When vegetarians are compared to meat eaters that are also health conscious, no difference is found. So basically, it's whatever. But that goes towards diseases, not your overall function. It is also important to note that most vegetarians and vegan diets do recommend that people eat unprocessed whole foods and avoid added sugars, refined grains, and trans fats. Like I said, there's good fats, there's bad fats. Refined grains is pretty much just processed bullshit. Added sugars is if you have a big 1 pound, 5 pound bag of sugar, whatever, however you shop for your family, that's not real sugar. If you want to put a little bit more sugar if you want to put sugar on your oatmeal or your cereal or whatever, use cane sugar. Cane sugar is very natural and it's very good for you. If vegetarian diets really have health benefits, then this is the true reason, not the fact that they eliminate perfectly healthy animal foods. The seventh one, like I said, really isn't a thing, but it says meat tastes incredibly good. Steak, roast chicken, lamb chops, enough said. Now, throughout all this process, and like I said, if you want to look up the sources that they used for their arguments, there are links. They're numbered links, and the highest numbered link would be 38, But then there are also word links as well. So added sugars is highlighted, and there's several other words. Proteins was added. Gentler cooking uses was used. Now, observational studies. I want to touch on that because I just went by it again. Observational studies is an extreme method of study. An observational study, they will actually, and especially in this study for cancer-causing meat products, they took the cancer-causing chemical that shows itself in its carbonated form, which mean and what they do is they actually purify. They actually made a artificial pure version of this chemical and fed it to rats in large portions. Now, I'm 27 years old. I've been eating meat since I can chew, and I've been smoking for 14 years, on an average of a pack and a half to 2 packs a day. I am The only complaints that my doctor has is that I don't get enough exercise and that I smoke. Those are his only two complaints. Only two complaints. So think about that. Through all my blood tests, my physical exams, everything. Throw everything. The only thing that's wrong with me is I'm a little chubby and I smoke too damn much. And I'm blind. But my blindness is hereditary. So, but anyways, that's seven, really 6 reasons why you should eat meats and why it is beneficial for you to eat meats. Now, I understand that there are certain vegan bodybuilders out there, but think of all the supplements you have to take. Now, for those of you who don't know what vitamin supplements are, vitamin nutrients and minerals are key to human production, just within your own body. Taking away any of these is bad. So when you take away the food group that provides it for you, you're going to have to take supplements. And supplements are normally in 1,000 units. The average human cannot consume and absorb 1,000 units of any given mineral. It's just impossible. You're pissing it out, and most of these are 100 tablet or 100 pill or whatever uh, bottles, and they're around $15 a bottle. So really, you're literally just pissing away money, because that's what happens with unabsorbed uh, nutrients. Is it just goes out your waste. That's all it does. So you're pissing money away. The only time that the only time you should take vitamins and low doses of vitamins at that, not definitely not 1,000 units. Maybe something like 25 units, 30 units. Depending on your age and your gender. And yes, it does matter what gender you are. Males don't need supplements as much as women do, especially women who are pregnant or have had kids. The reason why is that when a woman is in her process of carrying a child, one, she needs to have the vitamins and nutrients and everything for herself. Then she also needs to maintain her own body. Then she needs to provide nutrients for her child. And then she needs to provide extra nutrients for what she is losing, because women do lose vital nutrients during childbirth and conception, because the as the baby is developing, it is taking away all the nutrients. It literally is the baby. It literally is killing you, and that is why women have more of a chance of bone disease and complications. Is because the baby is taking all the nutrients. The baby needs those nutrients in order to develop. So, and men, since we don't go through that process, we don't need as much vitamins as a woman does. I actually I actually pretty much force fed my kid's ma vitamins pills, even though she already had two other kids and she was on a vitamin regimen. Anyways, with those two, and my baby girl came out 7 pounds 15 ounces, and I'm pretty sure most of it was her head because she has my big dumbass head. Well, anyways, like I said, this was 7 reasons why you should eat meats. And if you disagree with me, go ahead and troll me on the comment section below. But you're not going to change my mind whatsoever. I'm healthy despite the fact that I smoke and don't exercise. I maintain a proper muscle mass. And if I ever did decide to exercise again, I'm pretty sure I can get one, lose weight dramatically quicker, and two, gain a lot more muscle mass. So, but yeah, I hope you guys all learned something today, and as always, blessed be.